This was day 6 of our UAE trip 2025. We were doing another day trip from Dubai, but as to where to go, there had been a toss up between Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, and Al Ain. We eventually settled on Al Ain primarily for its historical value. Our destination was a 2-hour drive down south from Dubai. We had planned to take a bus, but we had a nice surprise waiting for us in the form of an all black Chevy Suburban. Given the car and the excellent condition of the E66 road all the way to Al Ain, it was a smooth ride. Before anything else, I'd like to revisit the basic map of the United Arab Emirates shown earlier. The UAE is often thought of as a flat country with little variation in terrain. In fact, they share the only mountain range in the entire Arabian Peninsula with Oman. This is the Al Hajar mountain range. Jebel Hafeet, a mountain overlooking Al Ain on the north side and Oman on the southern side, is considered an offshoot of this range. Jebel is the Arabic word for hill or mountain. While we had gained altitude earlier in this trip, this was the first time we had actually done so by scaling the contours of the earth. The elevation at 1000 odd meters, not much, but still allows for good vistas of the surrounding region and the city of Al Ain. Jebel Hafid's arid landscape and high perches in cliffs offer opportunities for birding. We had three lifers here: the brown necked raven that patrolled the high cliffs, the desert lark that hopped along the ground, and the black and white Hume's meteor that gave us ample opportunity to view it well. Its association with India is through the same chap who founded the Indian National Congress, Alan Octavian Hume, who first described the bird in European journals and who was clearly a pioneer of Indian birding. One can also hike in the Jebel Hafeet area to explore the landscape and its Bronze Age beehive tombs. Late April makes any such undertaking difficult, even at 10 in the morning. So we dug into a quick breakfast at one of the earmarked spots along the mountain roadside and then drove through Al Ain city. Even at first glance, it was refreshing to see an Emirati city that does not have skyscrapers puncturing the sky. The pace of life seemed unhurried here. Al Ain was also distinctly greener because of its tree lined avenues and oases, all of which have given it the moniker Garden City, which I have generally learned to discount. However, it actually seemed earned here. If all this makes Al Ain seem like a quiet, idyllic frontier town, that is actually far from fact. Besides a large local dates industry, it has a state of the art hospital run by Johns Hopkins and the Horizon International Flight Academy, which trains Etihad pilots. This clearly is the most significant Emirati city after Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah. Soon, we reached the most significant part of the city, the Al Ain Oasis, a vast green grove of palm trees that has been a lifeline to people for thousands of years. It is the largest of the 7 oases in the city. Here, the Emirati government has created a set of cobbled pathways that can be explored on foot or in battery operated cars. Al Ain Oasis is roughly the size of 3 central parks, and one can easily imagine spending an entire day here ambling about, taking in a landscape that stands in stark contrast to everything around it. Not for the first nor for the last time did the summer heat get in the way of full exploration, and we had to make do with a few walks through the palm grove. During our walks, we were lucky to get a glimpse of a demonstration of the climbing of a palm tree by a local, which made for fascinating viewing. I didn't know what I liked more: the skilled climb, the self assured pose at the top, or the trickier descent. The demo was for a German family who had paid for a guide and the works. Sometimes you benefit just by being in the right place at the right time. Overall, this was a rare demonstration that made me think of Emirati life before the discovery of oil. As many an account of anyone who knew life in the Emirates from this time would attest to, it must have been a hard life, driven by human industry, whether it was palm tapping or pearl diving. At any rate, we didn't have to dive all that deep to find the pearl within the oyster. Ain Oasis irrigation system, the ancient Falaj. An oasis may be nature given, but it takes human ingenuity to channel it, literally. This is a system that taps into underground sources of water, such as a spring. Any surface level source would quickly dry out on this harsh climb, as we had learned earlier on this trip. The Falaj system has existed across the Middle East since 6,000 years ago, at the very least. As the innovative audio-visual display proved, the Al Ain Oasis and the Falaj irrigation system are the priceless human heirlooms which constitute the primary reason for Al Ain being nominated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. As of May 2025, it is still the sole World Heritage Site in the Emirates. As an experience, Al Ain Oasis is also atmospheric in many ways. I could actually understand the paradox of a rich vein of life in a largely barren land. Later, we reflected on this immersive experience by cooling off at the resident cafe. Driving through Al Ain again, we spotted the magnificent dome of the Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan Mosque. There is evidence to believe this might be the oldest mosque in the country.
To cap off our Al Ain visit, we decided to visit a place of deep significance to the country. The Qasr al Muwaiji is a fort and home to the ruling family of the Abu Dhabi Emirate, of which Al Ain is a part. Abu Dhabi's ruler has generally been the president of the UAE, starting with the man who is considered its founding father, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. Quite typical of the Emirates, money shows up everywhere. The fort is old, but inside it lies a fancy all glass enclosure. Now, this can be seen in two ways. It is easy to despair at the encroachment of comfort in a place that is all about a tough life back in the day. On a hot day like this, though, we were thankful for small mercies. We were able to take in the lay of the fort from the comfort of air conditioning. The highlights of the fort are the watchtowers that serve as lookouts. Interestingly, one of them even housed the residential rooms. Walking through the dark rooms and passages, we came across curated presentations playing gently on the walls, bringing to life the memories of this once lived in space, like conversations over an Emirati coffee.
Qasr al Muwaiji is a lived in space in another sense. As a fan of travel literature, it was a thrill to walk in the footsteps of Wilfred Thesiger, the writer of the most seminal travel book about the Arabian Peninsula, Arabian Sands. During his arduous journeys, he was a guest here a few times in the 1940s. He records the sight of the fort looming upon them thus, quote, as we came out of the red dunes onto a gravel plain, I could see his fort, a large square enclosure of which mud walls were 10 feet high. Unquote.
Today, for the casual visitor, Emirati hospitality is structurally reflected in the form of majlis, the term used for a guest room in every Emirati home where visitors are received. With our short day trip to Alain coming to an end, we had experienced such a delightful mix of landscape, history, and culture that it is the one place in the Emirates out of all that we visited that we would happily go back to and spend another immersive week or two.